Okay, so that's for the left side. So now the right side, okay, so for each split, now we have to look at greater than 33 and greater than 43.2 and so on. So this will be, you need to first sum. So here you're talking about starting from H11 through H11, but it is the second number that we need to uh, absolute reference. So that way when you copy down, so no, H11 all the way up to H31. Okay. Now, now it is H31 that must be absolute reference. So when you copy this formula down to the next row, the starting point will change from H11 to H12, but the ending point will always be H31. And that will sum all the non-owners on the right side of the split. And then we have to divide that by the sum of the total. So that will be like J11 through J31, with the J31 being absolute referenced. So that will give you the non-owners. Okay, so then we can do 1 minus that for owners, and then Gini and entropy are going to be the same formula from here, and then we can copy that rest of the way. Okay, see here, when we have p sub 1 equal to 0, then you're going to have error in these cells. So since we have the if error function surrounding the entropy formula, so you have blanks here. Okay, and then for the split itself, we need to find a weighted average of the Gini of the left and Gini of the right, and same thing for entropy. So we have for the left, okay, the weight is the percentage of records times the Gini of the left plus percentage of records for the right side times Gini of the right. So that gives us the Gini for the split. So combining the Gini of the two nodes, it gives you a measure for that given split. And entropy, same thing, percentage of records times the entropy of the left side, percentage of records times entropy of the right side. Okay, so once again, because of this blank value, you're getting a value error, so we have to enter if error, and then all right, so now that's going to okay, so that's going to give us the entropy of Gini and entropy of the various splits. Okay, now we need to do the same thing for lot size. Lot size again, we have the pivot table for lot size here. So less than or equal to 14. So we have sum. Okay, so we have less than or equal to 14. So that will be O10. So we are now looking for the proportion of records. So O4 to O4. Okay, so that's on the left side with the first O4 absolute referenced, okay, divided by the grand total which is in O28. So that gives us the percentage of the left side. So 1 minus that would be for the right side. Now we need the owner and non-owner percentages. So sum of, now here M10 to M10 with the first M10 absolute referenced divided by sum of grand total. So that will be O10 to O10. Once again, the first one absolute reference. So that will give you the proportion of non-owners. Okay. And then 1 minus that would be proportion of owners. And then we have the Gini. And then we have the entropy. That automatically copied the formula down. So now we can copy this formula for the rest of the way. Well, I made a mistake somewhere. So O28 should be absolute referenced. Okay. Now we do the same thing here. Now, okay, so we need to do the opposite. Okay, these, so you start with M11 through M27 with M27 absolute referenced, then divide by sum O11 through O27 with O27 absolute referenced. Okay, so now we have calculated everything all the way up to the entropy of the split. So now we copy this whole thing down here. Okay. So now we have evaluated all possible splits, okay, from the two predictors, and we have calculated the split Gini and split entropy. So now if you're going to use Gini as our criterion for selecting a particular split, then we need to look for the minimum here. So let's see. Let me so we say minimum equal to, so we do a min, so that will be the minimum of Gini, and then minimum of entropy. Now if you want to highlight which of these rows has that minimum value, so which is right here, but we can use conditional formatting, okay, to highlight the row. So, and we want the entire row to be highlighted when the value in just this column equals the minimum, right? So after highlighting, you go to conditional formatting. Let's take new rule and use a formula to determine which cell to format. So we highlight this whole area. So this rule will be applied to the entire area. And here we want to check when we process each row, each cell. Okay, we don't want each cell to be compared to this minimum. We want, for each cell, we want to only look at this column. So you highlight this entire column. Okay, so then we need to make sure that this column S is absoluted, but the rows change. So the rows, then one row at a time. Okay, I made a mistake. Okay, so all right, so start over. Yeah. Okay. All right, so now we press F4 to make sure that the column is absolute reference and not the rows, and then set that equal to that one. Okay, so now it'll this rule will check each cell in just that column alone. Yeah, and then the format that we want. Okay, let's say that we want to highlight it with light green. Okay, so now that one gets highlighted. So the best split for us is lot size less than or equal to 20.8. Okay, among all the splits at this node, at the root node, this is the best one. Let's see what happens if we use entropy. Okay, once again, highlight like that. So this time, go conditional format, new rule, use formula. Okay, now use this column now, T. Okay, make sure that you don't include the minimum row. Now we need to press F4 to make sure that column T is absolute referenced, and then we select that one, and let's do another format, so maybe blue like that. All right, so if we use entropy, then of all the splits, the best split is at this point, at the root node, is that one.